Look up at the night sky for a moment. Somewhere in that darkness is a faint, blurry patch of light. You probably wouldn't notice it unless someone pointed it out. But that tiny smudge is something enormous. It's the Andromeda Galaxy, a massive spiral galaxy containing roughly 1 trillion stars, twice as many as our own Milky Way galaxy. And it's coming toward us. But before we get to that part, there's a bigger question. If humanity built a spacecraft today and pointed it straight toward Andromeda, how long would the journey actually take? The answer is so large that it almost stops feeling real. The Andromeda Galaxy is the closest large galaxy to our own. In cosmic terms, it's practically next door. But next door in space means something very different than it does on Earth. The distance between the Milky Way galaxy and Andromeda is about 2.5 million light-years. A light-year is the distance light travels in a single year, and light moves incredibly fast, about 300,000 kilometers per second. That speedy light can circle the entire Earth more than 7 times in just 1 second. And yet even light takes 2.5 million years to travel from Andromeda to us. That means the light we see from that galaxy tonight actually left when early human ancestors were just beginning to walk the Earth. In other words, we're looking 2.5 million years into the past. But let's imagine we want to go there ourselves. Humanity has built some incredibly fast spacecraft. One of the fastest objects ever created by humans is the Parker Solar Probe. At its peak speed, it can travel around 700,000 kilometers per hour. That sounds unbelievably fast, and by everyday standards, it is. But space is so large that even this speed becomes almost meaningless. If we pointed the Parker Solar Probe directly toward the Andromeda Galaxy, the trip would take roughly 3.8 trillion years. Let that number settle in. The entire universe itself is only about 13.8 billion years old, according to measurements from the Hubble Space Telescope and other cosmology studies. So our fastest spacecraft would need hundreds of times longer than the age of the universe just to reach our nearest galactic neighbor. Clearly, our current technology isn't even close. What if we traveled at the speed of light? Let's imagine something different. Suppose humanity could build a ship capable of traveling at the speed of light, the fastest speed. Anything can move according to modern physics, an enormous amount of time. For comparison, when that journey started, the earliest members of the human genus had barely appeared on Earth. Civilizations would rise and fall thousands of times during that voyage. Entire species could evolve and disappear before the ship even arrived. So, even at light speed, reaching another galaxy isn't something a single human lifetime could accomplish. But physicists have wondered whether there might be ways to bend the rules, the idea of warp drives. In the 1990s, theoretical physicist Miguel Alcubierre proposed a strange idea. Instead of moving a spacecraft through space, what if we moved space itself? This concept is known as the Alcubierre warp drive. The idea is surprisingly simple in theory. Space in front of the ship would contract. Space behind the ship would expand. The spacecraft itself would sit inside a bubble of normal space, while the universe moved around it. In this scenario, the ship wouldn't technically break the speed of light rule because it wouldn't be moving through space faster than light. Space itself would be doing the moving. If such technology were possible, the trip to the Andromeda Galaxy might take only a few weeks or months from the traveler's perspective. But there's a problem. The Alcubierre warp drive requires enormous amounts of something called negative energy, and scientists have never discovered a way to produce or control that kind of energy in the required quantities. So for now, warp drives remain theoretical. The reality of intergalactic travel, even reaching nearby stars, is incredibly difficult. The closest star system to Earth is Alpha Centauri, about 4.3 light-years away. Scientists have proposed projects like Breakthrough Starshot, which would use powerful lasers to push tiny spacecraft to about 20% the speed of light. That speedy reaching Alpha Centauri might go around 20 years, but even that breakthrough technology would still take over 12 million years to reach the Andromeda Galaxy. And that's assuming the spacecraft survived the journey through intergalactic space. The reality is that our galaxy itself is already enormous. The Milky Way galaxy is about 100,000 light-years across. Just crossing our own galaxy at the speed of light would take 100,000 years. Traveling between galaxies is an entirely different scale of challenge. But something interesting is happening. Here's where the story becomes even more fascinating. We might not need to go to the Andromeda Galaxy at all, because it's actually coming toward us. Astronomers using the Hubble Space Telescope discovered that Andromeda and the Milky Way galaxy are moving toward each other at roughly 110 kilometers per second. That's about 400,000 kilometers per hour. Accigali speedy that will collide. But don't imagine a violent crash like two cars on a highway. Galaxies are mostly empty space. Even though each galaxy contains billions or trillions of stars, the distances between those stars are enormous. When the collision happens, most stars will pass each other without ever coming close. Instead, gravity will slowly pull the galaxies together, distorting their shapes and mixing their stars over billions of years. Astronomers estimate this merger will happen in about 4.5 billion years. Eventually, the two galaxies will combine into one massive new galaxy, sometimes nicknamed Milkomeda. So will humans ever go there? Realistically, reaching another galaxy is far beyond anything humanity can currently achieve. Even traveling to the nearest stars will push our technology to its limits. But history shows that human imagination often comes before human capability. 100 years ago, landing on the moon sounded impossible. Yet in 1969, astronauts from the NASA stood on its surface. Today, we're talking about missions to Mars, interstellar probes, and advanced propulsion systems. The distances between galaxies may remain out of reach for a very long time, but the curiosity that drives humans to ask these questions has never stopped pushing boundaries. So the next time you look up at the night sky and see that faint smudge of light, remember what it really is: an entire galaxy, a trillion stars, a place so far away that even light needs millions of years to reach us. And yet, in the grand motion of the universe, it's slowly drifting closer, which raises an interesting thought. If humanity survives long enough, we may never need to travel to the Andromeda Galaxy at all. One day, billions of years from now, it might come to us. If you enjoyed exploring the universe and the mysteries hidden in it, consider subscribing for more videos like this. And let me know in the comments if humanity could travel anywhere in the universe. Where would you go first?